We're back for another one, man. Abdul, man, I'm so excited to get you back for another podcast. What's going on, buddy?
It's going along good, buddy. I'm just getting ready for finally saying goodbye to 2020. Aren't you happy we're
Yeah.
done with 2020? I mean, like, it's been a it was an interesting year. It wasn't like I was very blessed and lucky throughout the year. Only lost one family member to the COVID, so not very, but a lot luckier than a lot of other people. And I haven't had it yet, so it's a good year. I've had a good time going getting through it, but I'm happy it's done. It's
I'm
let's
I'm happy it's done too. Hopefully 2021 is a little better than 2020 because it's been an interesting one, man. But what's up, bro? Nice blanket, man. You cold out there?
Oh yeah, buddy. That's this is mine. I have few New Year traditions, and one of them is just being cold. I loathe the cold as only truly a brown man can. I mean, I don't think white people can appreciate just how much we
That's
hate the
racist.
cold.
I guess
I
I guess
mm.
these slippers that I just bought because I was cold, just forget about them.
Oh, I have these like from a hotel. Like these are nice actually. Koh Samui, like these are seven-star hotel fucking slippies, dude. Like this from
I
the
didn't know there was
Waldorf in Koh
7 stars.
Samui. Neither did I. I haven't been. My sister got to go and stay out there for a few days when she was traveling couple of years ago now, and she brought me the slippers, and it adds to my collection of things. I have like slippers from a couple of different hotels. I have blankies from different airlines. Like this is my Etihad Airlines blankie, and I have another Qatar Airways blankie. I have another Emirates Airways
I
blankie. But
usually do take like the the soaps and the shampoos and the mouthwash.
as long as you don't take the towels, it's all
Yeah,
good.
I don't
As
take the
long as it
towels. No, not that. They'll charge you for that in America for sure.
It
But
charge
yeah,
you, and they ought to. But the showers and the soaps and all that, yeah, that makes sense. I grab onto that when I'm traveling too. It's very convenient. But cold weather, dude. Yeah, coming back. So I don't like the cold.
me
Right,
neither.
like when it gets really, to give you an idea, and I'm sure you're gonna chuckle at me. I'm gonna do a quick conversion to let you know too. When I feel pretty cold, in my room, it's
Oh, you're gonna do
21 degrees centigrade in my room. 21 degrees centigrade.
Celsius,
That's
yeah.
70 Celsius. That's 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel cold, bro.
How do I? All right, let me do this then, real quick, quick and dirty, quick and dirty. Let me do 50 degrees
Fahrenheit, yeah, that's
Fahrenheit
10 degrees. That's
to
10 degrees
Celsius.
Celsius.
That's
Yeah.
10. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's what I woke up the other day to in my house when the heater went out.
Ooh.
hence
That's
the
how
hence
cold
the
it
new
is outside.
hence the new slippers and the sweatpants and the long sleeve shirt. Yeah, it was really cold. Our heater went out the outside unit. I got to get somebody to come out here and look at it. It'll cost a little bit, but for right now it's warmed back up, so we're doing good here in Orlando, Florida. But
What kind of heater do you use, Ryan?
it's a dual outside electric heater with a heat core. A lot of people in America will be on either natural gas or shoot, what's the other one? Maybe even like a wood furnace or something like that. But we're just electric heat. My main power bill is in the summer. It's trying to keep this house cold in the Florida heat when it's, I don't know what it is in Celsius, but look up 99 degrees Celsius. What's that? Or 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me see.
Yeah,
99
shame on you.
30
That's 38 degrees
37 when
Celsius.
it's 38
Yeah.
when it's 38 degrees outside, 99 here. That's when the real power kind of sets in trying to pay that bill, but so we're
Yeah,
okay for now.
it gets much hotter than 38 degrees here. Like it's above 40 in summer, nobody's business, man. Like 38 degrees is just a normal summer day. And I'm talking about my part of Pakistan. Obviously, Orlando isn't representative of all of the United States. You
Right
all have many different kinds of weather. Um,
now,
but here in
Karachi's what?
Karachi, it
That's
doesn't
that
get that cold.
southern. That's southern Pakistan, isn't it?
The right down at the southern tip on the coast, man. It doesn't get any more south than we do in Pakistan.
Yeah, so I can imagine. I mean, I could see how the up north it's going to be similar to how it would be a couple states away up north. I mean, they had snow in Georgia a couple days ago. We haven't had snow in Florida in years. I mean, I grew up with snow, but we just haven't seen it here in years.
I think there's been one recorded snow event in Karachi ever, and that was like 100 or something years ago. And I may even be mistaken about that. But yeah, like out, you're saying it was 10 degrees in the house. It was 10 degrees outside here the other day, and everyone was freaking out that, oh my God, we're dying. It's so cold. And that's like 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and so that should give you an idea. We're not used to the cold. Yeah, we don't have heaters. Everyone has air conditioning for those, but that was a very elitist and privileged remark. I apologize. Everyone does not have air conditioning.
Hey,
The
I don't even
the
have it right now.
the privileged few have air conditioning for the summer, and that's where the majority of your electricity bill goes into, is keeping your stuff cool in the summer in Karachi, Pakistan.
Now,
Up north, yeah, when you go further inland and you get higher up into the mountains, there are places where it snows. There are places where they abandon the mountain and they come down the mountain because they can't live there anymore. It's too cold and snowy. There's nothing up there.
do people like ski and snowboard like recreationally out in Pakistan or
It's not there. There was one spot. There was a spot called Malam Jabba. I got to visit it many years ago, where there was a ski lift and it was a ski. It was a ski resort.
right?
It was the only ski resort, as far as I know, unless I'm mistaken. I think there was another army. There was another like army training ski resort, but this was like the one open to public and everything. But it's not really done at large. I've seen these crazy kids up in the mountain, dude, bro. They don't need no snowboards. They just kind of slide down the mountain on their slippers. I kid you not. I was like across the way, and this is one day I'll tell you about these stories. It's a So we were driving across a glacier, and suddenly the road was broken. So we had to pull over the car and build the road back, because with like rocks and stuff, the driver told us how to build it. So there were these kids across the valley. There's this sheer 70, 80-degree slope in the middle of it. They've got their house. These kids see us and they just jump down and they just kind of slide down the mountain, dude. They just kind of slide and run down. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, we did grow up sledding on some pretty gnarly hills in Northern Virginia, which is about the right in the middle of East Coast on Virginia or on America, right by Washington D.C. But yeah, some pretty gnarly steep hills, man, on inner tubes. I remember one time I went down an inner tube and I ran into like a thorn bush and it popped the inner tube, brand new rubber inner tube. I was mad.
I've never, I've never, one time in my life I've gotten to play with snow, and that was when I visited this ski resort. Like I was out of college, and a bunch of us were decided we had, I think it was autumn break, and like a friend walks into my room at 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been awake all night playing video games and whatever, and he just walks into my room, and he says, "Listen, either 1 hour from now, nobody is going to the mountains." I said, okay. Or 1 hour from now, we're all going to the mountains and you're coming as well. So this is your heads up. This is about to happen.
No excuses.
No excuses. It turns out an hour later, we got into a van and we headed up there.
Hell yeah.
So we got up to this place and it was covered in snow. Dude, and you got to know how to walk your way up the mountain. Like, you got to know how not to fight the mountain. I
Agree.
did not know this. I had not learned this lesson. So me and my buddy spent a good 45 minutes like trying to walk straight up this slope, about
Jeez.
70, 75 degrees. Children, this is not how it's done. All right. That's not how you do it. We made absolutely no headway. We made it maybe 20, 30 feet up the damn thing, right? We went and we rested, and then we saw this old gentleman, 60, 70 years old, dude. We're 19 at this point. And this 70-year-old, okay, with his hands held behind his back, just casually goes sideways, zig, zag, zig, zag. And in 4 minutes, like he's past us, past what we've been fighting for half an hour. And then we just kind of followed him up the mountain. We got all the way to the top. Then a bloody blizzard happened when we reached the top, and everything disappeared. A cloud descended, and everyone left. We were the last four people on the top of the slope. We had to jump down into the cloud. And in retrospect, it was a really stupid thing to do. That you jump down a ski slope on your feet without being able to see where the rocks and the and there's a ski lift somewhere there with big poles, and we can't see it.
We call that
Somehow,
the walk of shame.
yeah, somehow we made it down alive, and we got down to the hotel, spent the night there, wet and miserable, and listening to the blizzard. But I've never gotten to play with snow otherwise. It's some one day,
Oh, it's
hopefully life
Harrison.
allows me to visit again, to to go up north and do the whole snowman and snow angel thing. But the cold weather, the cold weather does not work it for me. How about you, Ryan?
I mean,
Do
I
you
no, I
mind
agree.
playing in the snow?
I grew up in it. I moved to get away from it. I got tired of it. I got tired of scraping off my windows in the morning to go to work. I got tired of. I was a smoker at the time. I do the vape, the jewel thing now. But I got tired of going outside, smoking a cigarette, and it's freezing outside. So it'd be 0 degrees Celsius outside, and I'm outside just the day I moved here, it was so cold, and I got on a plane. I got off the plane, and it was so warm. I was like, you know what? I'm never leaving again. I love Florida. I love it. I love the temperature. Call me Florida man. I don't care. Um, but yeah, I don't mind the snow. I did go to Iowa about a year or so ago and saw some snow there. So that was the last time. I did fly one of our drones. A lot of people don't know me and you were both avid drone pilots. So I flew my drone there. Just took a little bit different precautions. It wasn't too much different. Just made sure I didn't land in a big pile of it. Um, but yeah, the only thing I mind about cold is when I wake up and my heat's off and I'm shivering, so I had to put a hat on and a sweatshirt and got some slippers, and now we'll get the guy out here to fix it. So, I mean, it's not a big thing for me, really. Well,
Nah, dude, but this is something that I hope we get into with an international incident that and people in the comments can point out if they're excited and they want us to see they want to see us move this to the forefront with the content that we're creating. But I want us to make things.
that's a
So
good
I
idea.
want you to be the guy that fixes it. We're gonna like I've been we talked about camping in the last podcast, and we got a what's it like for camping and everything as well. Um, so playing with fire and getting things heated up is something that I've been doing a lot of research over the past few years. And maybe not this winter, but winter 2021, Ryan, we're going to have like a nice, some kind
Well,
of
see, I
green
bet I
organic thing
see.
for
Here's
you
the
hooked
thing
up, bro.
that I'm hearing though. Both of us could probably camp where we live around an hour or so of where we live around pretty comfortably all year round. It's going to those extreme places. That's an episode that's definitely gonna have to come up at some point. I mean, camping in the snow. Oh gosh. Oh jeez.
Oh
Why am I
gosh,
signing up
dude.
for this?
You're not it. Not it. That's you. That's you.
No,
Not it. I was not
I'll
it.
camp in the middle of the Florida summer in a swamp near alligators. Don't put me back in the snow, please. That's why I moved here. All right, we'll put a pin in that. We'll come back to that, man. But yeah, weather's up and down here. It's getting nicer. It is what it is. It's been pretty good. I'm glad you have some good weather. But today it's beautiful, and this is gonna come out later. But again, it is New Year's. It's New Year's Eve in Pakistan and in America. I mean, this is the last day of what I would call I don't know how to describe it other than the most memorable year of my life. I mean, 2020, man, what a dumpster fire it's been. What do you got going on? Are you doing anything? You just hanging out, or any thoughts?
Well, I have a New Year tradition that I'd managed to establish at least over the past 3 years, where I'd go out camping for New Year's, and we had a group of friends. We'd make sure that we go out to a beach, and I really loved it because you got to be outside of the city. I love being under the stars, anyways. And in any case, when you're far away from the city, there isn't any aerial firing nonsense, so you don't have to worry about that kind of, which was something that works very deeply into
Do you
my
mean
paranoia.
aerial firing, like firing guns into the air in
Yeah,
celebration?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's a lot of people do that
we
a
usually
lot.
shoot them into the ground, but teach their own.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. No, there have been campaigns against it, and there isn't as much of it as there used to be. I want to say, but like I'm from that generation of people who grew up in the '90s and all that we were taught very particularly that look, when it's at 11 about 11:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve, you make sure that you're indoors and you stay there till a half past 12. Because the leads got to go somewhere. But anyhow, that's not
Oh
happening
my
this year
gosh.
because it sort of worked out in the middle of the week, and everyone's got to be socially distanced and careful and yada yada. But what I plan on doing is I think I'm going to end out the year and start the new year doing something that I'm very that's really helped me this year, that's helped me stay grounded, stay centered, given me something to do, been very rewarding, personally and professionally, is Liftoff, bro. So I'm going to be doing, once we're done recording our podcast, I'm going to go into like a 3 hour Liftoff live stream.
Okay,
And
now just to sorry to interrupt you, but there might be some people watching who don't know what's liftoff. Can we run through that real quick?
so Liftoff is an FPV drone simulator. That's first person view drone simulator. We fly drones that look just like these. They're racing drones. They're not camera drones. They're racing drones. They
Wee.
fast. Yeah, look at that. So these guys, so there's a simulator for that. It's called Liftoff, and your boy Abdul Alim is the. Excuse me, I dropped my little umbrella
I'll
there.
finish that one. Your bull Abdul Alim is the official Liftoff host. So if you go to Facebook Liftoff Official, anytime they go live for new features, new updates, and just to check in, I believe it's called A Song of Wind and Throttle. Is that what it is?
Pitch and
Pitch
throttle,
and
baby.
Throttle. Sorry about that, sweetheart. Abdul Alim is the host, and it's very, very impressive. So, if any of you guys, and I know a lot of you guys watching have Steam. Have you ever heard of that? Steam. They're doing all right if you never have, but go on Steam, search Liftoff. You can get one of these controllers like this for pretty cheap, and learn how to fly drones before you go out there and smash them. So we're big into
Yeah,
drones. We're big into
it's gonna
drones.
save you
But yeah.
thousands of dollars, dude. Like I've seen people who've just done it through, and you've seen these people now as well, Ryan,
Yep.
who have not gone through the like we. I learned in the old days when there was no simulator, it didn't exist, and you had to go out and destroy like a few $100 worth of equipment in order to get the learning that you needed.
Yep.
And people just do that on the with like a it's $15 nowadays, and you guys can check out the AI
And isn't
gaming
it?
versions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We do. We have a gaming episode coming up where we play that. Yeah,
and they were
that's
nice
right.
enough to give a to share
Look
like a
down
code
there.
for you.
Look down there. Look down there. Yeah. Shout out. Thanks, guys, for hooking the AII crew up. Um, Also, isn't it available on consoles now?
Yeah, they've got a new version that is out that just launched on November the 10th, which is for PS4 and Xbox One. I played that, and you know what, Rax? I think that is going to help a lot of new kids get into the hobby because it makes it easier to fly FPV.
Agreed.
Like a lot of people griped about, hey, but it's going to be so hard to fly on the
Yep.
controller. And okay, so it is hard to fly on a PS4 controller using traditional controls, but they've got this flight assist game going.
I wouldn't say
Okay.
it's hard. I mean, there's been games, Ace Combat, stuff like that. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's not totally authentic. Okay, but also,
Hmm.
like, I mean, coming from somebody, you need to get this, and you would need this, which is a nice computer, and then the game to run the simulator, that can be a little overwhelming. But the fact now that you guys have it set up where it's just a game now on
On the
on the
console.
console,
Yeah,
somebody will learn
boom.
how to fly, and they'll very quickly decide whether or not, oh, actually, I want to go deeper down the rabbit hole of this hobby that is flying drones. Here's another thing I just want to touch on the podcast. You guys might notice we'll slip in and out of it. Sometimes I'll call him Abdul Alim. Sometimes I'll call him Karachi. Sometimes he'll call me Rax. Sometimes he'll call me Ryan. So in FPV, you have what are called call signs. They're pilot names. He's Karachi Quads. I'm Rax. It naturally happens in conversation. So when we start talking FPV, he naturally dropped. He's like, "Yeah, Rax, let me tell you about this." It's just gonna happen. So I mean, that's what that is. But Abdul Alim and Ryan Via, man, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
so the console version, the assisted flight controls, dude, I tried it out, okay? And they felt so good and they felt so easy and natural to use I didn't fly, and you can check this out. There's a live stream of me reacting to it live on the stream, so that you have my honest reaction to how what I felt about the game.
We can link that in
I
the.
ref Yeah. Oh, we can link that in the
Yeah.
description. Yeah. I did not fly acro. I refused. I was like, listen, this assisted mode feels just like I'm driving. It feels exactly like I'm driving a car in GTA 5.
So again, just
It
for the people who don't fly it, what he's talking about is there's two modes of flying. There's an assisted mode where it's not going to let your drone bank over, bank over, bank over. It'll okay. He's waving his finger. Quick and dirty, we would call that an angle mode. In acro mode, you can do whatever you want. You can flip any direction
Yeah.
on any axis with all your inputs. Expand a little bit, I guess, more on that.
So the what as Ryan pointed out, those are the normal flight assists you have when you're flying a drone in real life, or even when you're flying a drone in the liftoff PC simulator. Those are the modes you have. One, you have complete freedom. You can do whatever you want, however you want, and the other one doesn't let you turn upside down. It always brings you back to flat, right?
Right.
But in the console version, they've introduced an additional flight assist for altitude as well. It takes throttle control. What throttle control is the amount of power that you're dynamically giving the drone in order to make sure that you don't plow into the ground. Yeah, it's one of the most basic core skills, and it's a difficult one to learn.
Right.
It takes it out of the equation. It gives you like an accelerator and a brake on the triggers, and it feels exactly like you're driving a car, not like you're flying a quad,
Wow.
dude. And it's so much fun. Like Ryan knows, when I do my Karachi Quads podcast, or when I do give Karachi Quads training or input to people, I tell them, listen, there's only one flight mode, and it's acro mode. There is no level mode. There is no, hold you to flat mode.
Unless you're flying a whoop inside in a race that's
Yeah.
tuned Project
There,
Mockingbird.
there's yeah, there is no other flight mode, and I'm very spoiled to that. None of my drones have any flight mode set to them other than acro.
Yep, me either.
But when I played it on the console, dude, I was like, yeah, this is so much fun. This is the way I want to play this game. This is super fun. It's so much fun. So kids are gonna enjoy it. Kids are gonna learn to fly the camera, and then they're gonna come to us, dude, and they're gonna blow us out of the water.
And
They're gonna
retailers
blow.
should love it because I mean now we're if you can get somebody on an Xbox, they don't have to buy the controller, they don't have to have a fancy computer that's capable of running a high graphics simulator on an Xbox or is it available on PlayStation and Xbox or just one?
Yes,
Both.
PlayStation
I
and
mean that's
Xbox.
beautiful. There's gonna be a whole new influx of pilots just coming to our hobby. So I mean that's really cool, man. So yeah, check out Karachi Quads on Liftoff. We'll put that in the description below. The Liftoff Facebook official. And then also, we'll put both our personal drone
And Racks boys, man. We're gonna drop a
Rex.
link to the
We,
Racks
we
there
we
as well,
fly
so
drones.
people
It's
can find
fun.
out.
It's very very fun, man. One of my
And
new one of I gotta add that one of my New Year's resolutions. I have this one spot, and I want to hit this certain trick at this one spot. It almost reminds me of skateboarding. I don't know if you were skateboarded growing up, but I grew up skateboarding, watching people like Bam Margera, Rodney Mullen, Danny Way, Tony Hawk. But there's this one spot I want to do this one series of tricks. I have this line in my head, and that's kind of what drones has come down to me. So my New Year's resolution for 2021 is to get out there ASAP and get this spot, get it recorded, get the trick line, and get it up on the internet. That's what. What's your New Year's resolution tonight this year, buddy?
I tried. I believe for 2020, what I'd wanted was positivity, and trying to embrace the whole secret, right? That tell the universe what you want, and the universe will just give it to you.
Oh,
It's kind of worked for me. It's kind of worked for me. Like it's been a reasonable enough year. Like, when I look back on it in hindsight, otherwise during it the uncertainty was crazy. It was hard to stay positive. But I think for 2021, I want to try and redo a resolution that I've tried before. And the resolution that I want, I articulated it to someone earlier today, actually, in a meeting that I went to, in a socially distanced and masked meeting, um,
yeah,
is action. I want action. I want to
positivity and
do
action.
stuff. I want to take all of the stuff that we've been talking about, or all of the stuff that we've been preparing for over the years, and see which ones are the ones that we can do, and do them, and that's it. Like just do them.
Dude,
Like
let's you know what? Let's expand on that a little bit more. Okay, so positivity. Do you believe in karma?
I do believe there is such a thing as karma.
Because you're
Yes.
almost talking about like a wish it, you will it, and it'll happen type energy.
Yeah, that's very much what I'm talking about. A visualize it and it becomes real, right? Like a whole put a check on the wall that says $1 million with your name on it, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna
I
have
don't
this
know about all
next year,
that, but yeah,
and
so
next year you have it.
okay,
Uh,
so that's pretty deep. Okay, so my New Year's resolution, maybe I should change mine to something deeper. I just wanted to fly a really cool spot, but okay. You want positivity.
Action.
You want
I want
action. You
action this year.
action coming towards like reciprocated action, or you putting out action that just enforces positivity.
Just do stuff, anything. Like you know a few days ago when we were just hanging out, and I said, listen, excuse me, I'm building a fountain.
Yeah.
And that's what I was
And that
doing.
was
I
like a
was building.
fountain. I was like, I thought we had a meeting. We build a fountain.
So I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I've been watching the video online, and I know how to do it, and I have all the tools and all the parts, and I was just like, no, why am I just sitting YouTubing? I'm going to do something more productive, and I did it. Action. I didn't worry about not having exactly the right parts. I didn't worry about it being perfect. I didn't worry about it being whatever. I was like, no, we do it. Get her done, man. Get her done. So that's what I mean. Action. No more no paralysis through analysis. That's what we want to avoid. I think that's something we've discussed in our meetings. Paralysis through over
You
analysis. We
always have
gotta.
some pretty good sayings. I'm not gonna lie.
I wish I could take credit, but
There's no accidents, just happy mistakes. Karachi quads.
no. There are no mistakes, only happy accidents. That's Bob Ross.
Oh,
It's not a mistake. It's a
Bob
happy
Ross,
accident.
Karachi quads, Michael Scott.
Michael Scott, you gotta love, man. You gotta
You miss,
love The
hey, you
Office.
miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Wayne Gretzky,
Yeah, dude.
Michael
You
Scott.
you can't win the lottery if you
Correct.
don't buy a ticket. So, speaking of, that happened to me this past week, dude. I never like I never want to put my name into like these lucky draws or whatever, because I'm like, I learned statistics as an engineer. The odds are infinitesimally low. The odds are never in your favor,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And I was in a meeting with you and Donnie,
Donnie,
right?
shout out Donnie.
And you and Donnie told me that, hey, UAV Futures is having this this Christmas competition, and it's a 30-second video, and just do something. What's the worst that can happen? You're gonna lose. I was like, yeah, look, even if I don't submit anything, I'll probably lose. If I submit something and I lose, what's the harm? And I submitted something, and I won, bro. I won, man. I've won an unreleased frame like nobody in the world has seen it before. And I need to follow up on that and make sure I get it. But
I mean, I have to at this point. Hold on.
G'day, this is Stu, and you're watching Rax, boys.
what are you doing?
I just cut to the good day. This is Stu. Shout out our homie Stu. Back to drones, bringing it for full circle. UAV Futures Stu out of Australia. What a good bloke he is. Even though he convinced me I could get into this hobby and maintain it for $200, called him a liar. So you're.
But
He said, "Yeah, you could get
Stu's,
into it, but you can't stay in it. Not for 200."
yeah, it's Stu's had so UAV Futures is a YouTube channel, if you guys are
Yes.
wondering, and he's been part of the community for a long time
Let's
and
drop
been
that
doing
too.
some of the yeah. He's been doing some of the best. I hope you're keeping a list of the well. You're gonna keep a list and make sure all that stuff gets put in, bruh. Um, but definitely someone worth shouting out, because a lot of people who get into the hobby and want to get into the hobby on a budget and want to pick the right budget parts. UAV Futures is the man to take a look at, who's reviewed those parts with that particular eye. to
Yep.
make sure that you get in for the easiest and most and least painful
And he does a
kind
very
of route.
cool, very informative live stream every week. And our boy Donnie is on it. So, anyways, me, you, Donnie, and I think there was one or two other people in there. I believe Letilik,
Little was
the
there.
best
Little.
pilot in all of Serbia, didn't know about the competition. And both of you guys came up with edits and put them into Good Day Stu here stream. And what happened? Our boy here won! And who came in second? Letilik!
Little.
Who's one of our foreign one of our foreign correspondents from Serbia, the best pilot in all of Serbia, man. And me and Donnie were talking about that. We were so stoked. We were like, "That's fucking awesome, man!" Like these guys, like to just fucking like you took the day, you took a couple hours, threw your edit together, your best ofs, boom, killed it. So we're gonna also put links in the description to your 2020 best of video that won you the competition. That's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah, man. So that's so cool. Where is that shipping from though? How does that get from Australia to Pakistan? Have you confirmed with him and all that?
It's not going to come from Australia. I know that it's going to come directly from the manufacturer. Even he has no idea what it is. He just knows it's called the Bobcat. It's a secret new release. So apparently they're going to send it to me direct,
Okay,
dude. That's
so
going
can
to
we
be.
can we do a AII Karachi like cross stream somehow and bring that? Well, let's bring that back up. Let's put a pin in that, and then we're gonna see that later. So anybody who's getting
Yeah,
into
and
drones, well, by the time they see this, they're gonna be like, "Holy, look at this thing!"
And so we're recording this before we're actually recording this before it gets released. It's New Year's Eve today, but you guys are going to see this sometime in January.
Yeah, probably.
So check out the comments, dude. We gotta make sure that when this gets released, Ryan, we come back in the comments and at least report back on how we did with the first 3 weeks of our New Year's
For sure,
resolution.
for sure,
And I'd love to hear how the people did. I'd
for
love to hear
sure.
in the comments how
And you know
how did
what?
you guys do?
You know what's something else we need to fucking check back up on, and because this we're talking about this now, but it's gonna be a couple weeks from now. That GoPro contest, the
Ooh,
Hero
Chalo,
9
speaking.
contest.
Speaking of FPV and us inspiring you to get into FPV, but it's a really mainstream now. Like we in the news, which they've already seen. The news has already been published by the time they're seeing this. We covered the GoPro $1 million contest video, and we noted, wow, there's a lot of FPV this year. Well, GoPro just went and dropped a full FPV edit video, buddy. Nothing but FPV
What?
and the GoPro Hero 9, and
We're
like
gonna have to
that's
link
a
that too.
we're gonna have to we're gonna I think we may turn up watching that in the news next time we watch the news. But that's a real thing. That's FPV becoming mainstream, being accepted as an independent camera platform in its own right, not just as a side camera platform, but as an independent camera platform where you strap a GoPro onto one of these beasts and you send it out into the world.
Yeah, see, I think that's the thing we're a little guilty of is we're both pilots. So when we start talking drones and FPV, first person drone, it's a drone we build from the ground up. It's not something you go and buy at Best Buy, and then what we do is we strap a GoPro to it and we fly it at speeds from anywhere of 40 to I don't know 80 miles an hour through trees, chasing drift cars, all kinds of things. Ground up builds. But what GoPro is doing is they're having a contest, and it's $1 million contest, and the shared prize is anybody who wins gets $1 million. And I believe my buddy Westside Chris Teal won last year for a GoPro Hero 8. He won $22,000. So look at that. You can see Abdul's holding up his 8 here. So this year is the new GoPro Hero 9 that just dropped. So that's the contest. And basically what we're seeing is so many of these shots that are already kind of being pre-released as like teasers are from drones. It's not just from people with a GoPro on their head on a skateboard or someone, a GoPro holding going down a mountain on skis or snowboards.
Well,
We're
yeah,
seeing a
like
lot of flying now.
as early as in last year's competition, I believe there were only two FPV shots in the GoPro,
Right.
two or three of them, right? And one of them was Johnny, one of them was Finky, one of them was West Side,
Yep.
and I believe two of them got featured in the final edit.
Yep. West Side
This
was one of
year,
them.
there's like a dozen of them in the Hero 9 video. So it's like FPV is really coming forward, and people are honing. And what's really impressive is that people are honing their skills through this simulator, and they're coming in, dude. it's very frustrating as someone who spent thousands of dollars destroying things. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've done that officially on one of the liftoff live streams. I invited a guy who'd only been flying in liftoff for about 8 months, and then he shared his first 5-inch flight with me. And he's like, "Oh, I don't fly so well in the real world." I was like, "Just shut up and show me for science. I need to see what happens." Of course, you're not going to fly well in the real world. How could you possibly fly well in the real world? You've never done it. Dude, I saw his first pack and I wanted to cry, Ryan. I wanted to cry. I was like, this isn't fair. How is this happening? Then we had him on as a guest, and I was like, dude, this guy is a prodigy. Look at him. I didn't believe it was true. He's proving us
Some
wrong.
guys
It's so
get good really
amazing.
fast. It is amazing, and that the liftoff, whether it's liftoff or Velocidrone or some of the, I mean, even Tiny Whoop Go, just the way that you can get good fast on that game, and then transfer that to the real world, going out and flying these,
Practice.
going out and
Just
flying these. I
practice,
mean,
practice,
these are
practice.
aircraft. They're literally aircraft. So going out just to transferring that,
That's
it's just amazing.
that's
So I love how
definitely what their class. Yeah.
I love how all of our topics so far are kind of like they're just swirling each other. I mean,
But they're definitely classed as aircraft in your part of the world right now. A new law just dropped about you guys needing to have a remote radio frequency identification beacons, and like you've needed to have like a pilot's license for quite a while in order to fly at least commercially in the United
yeah,
States.
we're gonna comply with all of that going forward. If it's under 250 grams, I think the rules are a little different. But you know what? With all due respect, brother, it's too new to tell what's gonna happen with that. I don't. It's not something I want to speculate on this podcast as of now. But I definitely think that's a topic we can come back to and discuss. But
And
I think
that's
some of
something that
our
affects.
viewers now have just gotten a little bit of an intro to FPV, and we'll have some links in the description. And basically, guys, just think of yourself as a bird. Anybody can go and buy a drone from Best Buy that takes pictures and floats and flies itself. These drones that we build from the ground up, they're like little birds, and they have little cameras on them. Hi, they're so cute. We're not spying on people. We're not looking through windows. We're more concerned about going mew, 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 and then not breaking it. That's what it is. So let's put a pin in FPV. There was something I wanted to bring up because we were talking about it the other day in a chat. Because when I ran to the store and I can't and I got I was like, I'll be right back. I gotta run to the store, and I got back within like 6-7 minutes. You were like, you went to the store already. And you're like, bro, you know how long it takes me to go to run to one of my stores in Pakistan with the traffic? I wanted to talk about the difference in traffic that you think, like, we need some video of this too. That's definitely going to be a what's it like upcoming, but like the difference between driving around in Orlando or driving around in Karachi, Pakistan, like, I don't know what you've seen from my vlogs, but like, what's it
No, you
like?
you you have no idea. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm gonna. Have you traveled outside of the United States?
A couple countries, but never like India or Pakistan. But I've seen memes.
Where
I've seen
where have you been? Tell me where you've been.
Amsterdam,
Doesn't count.
and England, Amsterdam and England.
Doesn't count. Have you been to Mexico?
No, sir.
Hmm. I think like I've also only seen memes and whatnot of Mexico, but I expect they'd be somewhat like imagine. Have you heard? There's this song from the 70s. I forget. I want to say it's the Beatles or Pink Floyd. Is like imagine no rules.
Well, that would be Imagine All the Peoples by John Lennon.
I think so. Yeah. Imagine no rules.
Hey, is
So
that a
like
crab? Might be a quote from that song. I haven't
yeah,
listened to that song for.
I just can't think of it off the top of my head, and I'm sorry, I'm old and in my mid 30s now, so shut up. It's blasphemous that I
I'm
don't
right there with
remember
you,
it.
buddy. Right there with
But
you.
someone should look it up in the comments and shout at me for it, please, because I honestly
I
don't
believe
remember.
it's
But
John Lennon. Imagine All the People, but I don't know what the line is. But I'm right there with you. So from what the memes I've seen is roundabouts, and just get out of my way. Like, I'm going here, and you need to get out of my way because I'm going here.
the thing is, yes, very much so. But imagine everybody doing that and doing it all at the same time, and somehow it works. No, everybody doesn't. You think you'd be in the middle of that as a logical, sane person, and you'd be like, listen, everyone is going to die. The very next second, everyone is going to die. That's what's going to happen.
Now,
But somehow everybody doesn't die.
is there motorbikes? Like, are there people mixing in with
Oh,
motorbikes,
dude, the
bicycles, all that
motorbikes,
shit?
dude. No, there are bicycles. There are. So one of the things I ran into on my way home right now was that there was a donkey cart with like 20-foot steel girders stuck out the back that had a raggy black oily rag on the back
Oh
as the
shit.
hazard thing, and he was cutting all the way across the bridge so he could get to the outside of the bridge and go down the less shallow part on the curve, and you're just like, oh God, it's death, it's everywhere, turn away, turn away.
Good luck,
um
everybody else.
but like, imagine, other than on the highway and other than in Islamabad, which is the capital, they've got speed cameras there since about the last 5 maybe 10 years or so, but there are no speed cameras anywhere else, not in the cities, not a single one. There are obviously no traffic light cameras. There are police out there who try to stand and who will try and to like, give you a ticket if you break the signal or whatever. But if there's like 50 people breaking the signal every time the signal opens or closes, obviously they're not going to be able to get everyone. So
Right.
there's pretty much not really a lot of quote unquote check and balance as it goes along. They started catching people on seat belts, at least here in Karachi, over the last like 3 years or so. So yeah, you do have to wear a seat belt since like 2016, 2017. I say again, before that you really didn't have to. Like the cars I had when I was growing up in the 90s, they didn't have seat belts. They
Yeah.
didn't have
I
them.
can remember that. I remember that we used to have the station wagons where you would face backwards.
Ooh,
Do
I've
you
never
remember
seen
those?
one.
It
I
would be
never seen
like
the backward facing
the
ones.
third row of the station wagon. You'd be looking out like you were a rear or a tail gunner in a dang World War II airplane. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Here,
And
I mean,
there's just a lot of people on the road altogether. That makes a big difference. It's that there's just a lot of people, and everyone's just following like a mob. Like you know how, you've never been scuba diving, yeah?
no, never been.
So but you've seen videos of how School of Fish moves underwater,
Yeah.
and it's kind of crazy, and everyone's going everywhere. But even though everyone's going everywhere and it's kind of crazy, the fish aren't hitting each other or hitting the
Yeah, they
rocks.
like instinctively know. Choo, 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 choo. It's like flying in formation.
That's kind of how it happens. Like, but I imagine in America, like my friend who's over there, and when I've traveled internationally to places that have traffic laws and like places that are not Pakistan, then and the way my buddy in the States describes it, everything is on rails. Like you're on rails, you know what you practically don't have to pay a lot of attention to it because you know what's going to happen.
It depends. It depends on where in the country you are. I mean, every state, I'm sure it's different. You have provinces there that probably have different laws. Every state can have different
Yeah, but
laws.
everybody crazy, everybody here, everywhere here. So it's equally crazy everywhere.
um,
How is it in Florida? Tell me about Orlando.
Florida's wide open. Okay, so let's compare. Let me real quick compare to where I grew up, as a state called Virginia, right near Washington D.C. You have to have a safety registration on your car. Need them. They
Hmm.
want to check your tires, your brakes, your windows, your doors. There's
Wait,
also
what do you mean? What do you mean check your
they
tires?
want to make sure your tires aren't worn. They want to make sure your car is safe to be on the road. Okay, so you're not going to risk hurting anybody else. There's also something called emission inspection, which would be they check. They put the tube on your exhaust and check how much carbon you're
But
putting.
those are like stickers you have to have, right,
Stickers,
on your
right? You're
cars and
right.
stuff.
One's once a year, one's twice a year, right? Move to Florida, yeah, there ain't none of that. You just pay the state. Pay the state for like a 2 year tag. They don't care how much carbon you're putting out or if your vehicle's unsafe or what. They don't give two shits. So Florida man, a little bit there. You've seen the story. So it's just different. Every state's different. America's big on state laws. You know what I mean? Like that's a big thing here is state laws. So it depends on where you go. But it can also get you in trouble because sometimes you cross a state line doing something you shouldn't that you could do in that state, but you can't do in that state, and then all of a sudden you're breaking the law, and you're in trouble. So it's a little dicey. It's a little dicey.
That's something that's a pretty foreign concept to me. And like I remember when I was working in Saudi Arabia, one of the laws there, and I don't know if this was a law in Dubai as well or all over the Middle East, but one of the laws was you had to make sure your car was clean. You couldn't be driving around a filthy car. And like the company used to pay us for it. I'd get a car wash allowance where I'd have to go and make
I'd
sure
get
that
in
my car
trouble.
was washed.
I'd get
It
in.
was part of, it was like, you have to be, like you said, the car has to be in good condition. If the car doesn't look roadworthy or
But
road
how
safe,
does
then you get a
cleanliness
ticket.
affect safetyness? This was more like checking the thickness of the brake pads,
For like
checking
the
the tread on
windows
the
and
tire.
stuff,
Well,
man.
that too, yeah. The way I mean, yeah, you get a ticket for that. You get a ticket for window tint, like having your windows too dark, having your music too
Ooh,
loud.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
can't.
in certain parts, so let's say Arizona in the desert, no laws. You can black those things out. In Virginia, where I grew up, no. They're like, no, you can only have it to a certain percent, and they'll literally come up with a card and hold it up to your window and be like, "Oh, your windows are too dark," and give you a ticket, and then you got to pay the county, the state, a certain amount of, which is basically a tax, you know.
But they don't. They won't pull it. They won't pull it
No,
off,
they
right?
won't
They'll
pull it
give
off
you
unless
the.
it's like unless you're like blacked out or like mirror like limo tent or like a 0% or something like that. No, they'll just write
So,
you a
so
tint. My buddy actually, this is a funny story. My buddy ran a tint shop, and he would have people come in and be like, "How dark do you want them?" And he'd be like, 0%. He'd be like, "You sure? You know it's illegal? Like I think it was 20% you had to have it or something like that. My numbers are probably way off." And he's like, "Yeah, I want it." A week later, the guy's coming back. Yeah, I got a $200 ticket. Can you take that off and swap it out? And the guy's like, I told you, man. I told you not to go that dark. Especially when it's like a sports car. Oh, cops are just like, all right, well, I got to write a certain number of tickets. And is that a sports car with 0% tint? Yeah. I'm like, whoop, 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 whoop. Yep. America.
no, so that's a big contrast. Like over here, you're not allowed to have tints on your car. Other than when they, I think, other than when they come, the car comes factory fitted with them, and that's also like a very low percentage of tint. Or unless you've got like power, third world power, in which you're like you're from the military or from the army or
Why
from
can't you? Why don't they want civilians having tint?
I don't know. I think it's part of I don't know exactly why it's part of the law. I think it's a security thing, a safety thing, so that everyone can see what, like, you can't hide and come into a place in the
That's
middle of the.
kind of what it was like for in Virginia for that topic, but I mean there's other states like I said, Arizona, they don't give a shit. You can have blackout window tint on your windshield on every window you can't see in the car. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is how it would work is like, okay, so like let's say like I knew a guy who came from Arizona to Virginia and he already had that, but because his license plate still said Arizona, Virginia can't do shit to him.
I was gonna ask then how to then that was gonna be my next question
Cars
to you,
still
that if you're
registered
switching.
cars still registered in Arizona as far as the government's concerned
That's
in
good.
Virginia that car is an Arizona car. They can't do shit. Um down that
But
law,
here,
hold on.
yeah.
Let me expand on this. That law gets a little muddy when we start talking about guns, which I know we hit on our last podcast and concealed
Mm.
carries and you know I'm a concealed carry permit. If I start crossing certain state lines with my concealed carry, it can be a real fucking problem. Especially like let's say if I fucking drove up to New York or New York City, I can't take my pistol with me, even though I have a concealed carry permit. Can't do it. That it doesn't work. It does not matter. New York says fuck you. We don't care. You can't have that here. I'm sure you have laws like that in different provinces that expand, but like so state laws, man, it gets a little muddy. You got to pay attention. Also with certain vitamins or even alcohol. Certain states of the alcohol laws are different times and where you can buy them and what days and whatnot and stuff like that.
Yeah, but in Pakistan, most of the laws, as far as I'm sure, and there definitely are minor anachronisms by each of the four provinces that we have. But largely everything is like this sort of law is the same across the board. And I say that specifically because I was looking up a gun permit a while ago, and what the consultant, my friend who helps give training for how to use a handgun, or which weapon to have for self defense or whatever. And he pointed out, he said that, yeah, you get an all Pakistan license, and that allows you to carry it with you on the plane, check it in, obviously. But you go to wherever the hell you want inside the country, and that is your license. So you don't
inside the
have to
country.
worry about that sort of provincial thing. But coming back to, and the same with the tints, if it's legal here, it's going to be legal there. But when the cops would pull you over here, like every now and then they'd do like a big cycle where they'd go and they'd try to catch people for it to try and teach people, because they can't, there's too many people for them to catch everybody. So they'd pull your tints off. They'd give you a ticket and they'd physically pull
They
the
would
tint
pull
off
yours
because
off.
you'd
See,
be like, no.
they wouldn't do that. I mean, most I know a lot of guys who would just pay the $30-$40 fine and then just keep riding it, keep driving it. But yeah, or also now here's the other thing. A lot of times that is an excuse used, and I'm not trying to get too whatever here, but that's an excuse used to pull people over, and then now they want you to step out of your car and they want to search it and they want to see maybe if you have anything illegal in your car. Whether most of the time they're looking for drugs, but whether it be maybe a firearm or drugs or something like that.
So again, that's also something that's an interesting thing to contrast, because it's very foreign to me. Not the idea of being pulled over and checked, but the idea of them needing an excuse to do it.
Right.
It doesn't happen. It hasn't. Wow, in the past decade or so, I've really seen it reduce. In at least in Karachi. But it was a fairly standard thing that if you're driving around at night, possibly late at night, there'll be cops standing somewhere on the road and they'll be pulling people over and just randomly checking you out, right?
Yeah.
Like you're driving, and if you look, just because you look as like a young kid, they wouldn't do it to me anymore. I mean, look at me, I'm
Right.
all
Well,
white haired
that's not
and
necessarily
decent
true,
looking.
though. So here's the thing. So our Constitution, our basically our founding documents, it has an amendment in there that says that we're protected for unreasonable search and seizures. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, once a cop has a reason to search you, justifiable reason. Oh, I smell weed, or you smell like alcohol, or I saw something on the floor that looks like a weapon. They can make up a lot of things. I'm not talking down on police. I do not have anything against police. There's good cops, there's bad cops. Okay, most of them are probably good, but I'm just trying to explain to you the cultural difference. So, let's say me and my fiance are just going to the store to get something to eat. He pulls me over. He smells maybe some weed on me. He can be like, "Hey man, I smell weed. I have means to tell you, not ask you, tell you, get out of your car. I'm searching your car." Okay. You could also like he can tell you, "Do you comply to a search?" Yes, I comply to a search because I knew I have nothing on me. 5-10 minutes, quick and dirty. Be nice to him. Be a gentleman. You'll be on your way. That's kind of how it usually goes, but that's how some of these things. Oh, this is starting to get to a place where I didn't want to get.
No,
That's
but
how
dude,
that's how some of
I
these
think
things will
you've
escalate because
yeah,
let's say
I
I
think
might be a different race, I might be in a different situation, a different part of town, and a
it
cop
really
smells
depends
weed,
on.
and I have a gun in the car. It could be completely different story. Okay, completely different.
Yeah, I think you worded it, and obviously the YouTube comments will correct us both if we're wrong. But I think you worded it in a pretty proper way, and I would agree with you. The difference there is that over there, without having to talk about what is a reasonable cause to search your car, over there they in America they have to provide or find a reasonable justification, and then use that to search your car. Over here they always have that reasonable justification, which is we're doing it for your
Well,
protection, and
I'm
you're
gonna add that over here they pretty much always have it if they want it to. It just depends on how they word
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And it really is
Because
interesting, like
sometimes, look, let's say
yeah.
they do bust you, they find a little bit of something you're not supposed to have, you go to court, you fight it, but then down the line, your lawyer finds, you know what, the reason they had to search your car wasn't actually valid. So even though they found this, yep, you get off
Mm.
because they didn't have a valid reason to pull you out of your car and start searching your shit just because you failed to put your turn signal on. That,
Yeah, and it's really funky. Like you said, it depends on how you behave with them. I once gave a cop a lift. lift, right? Randomly gave a cop a lift many years ago.
Now, are you
A very
talking?
short
You
lift.
picked him up and you carried him down the road, or what are you
In the
talking here, dude?
in the car. The guy
So
was the guy
you
was
were
at
like,
a
get in
signal.
the car. I'll give you a
Yeah,
ride down the
yeah,
road.
yeah. I'll give you a ride down the road. So just for giggles, I asked him that. Listen, dude, how do you tell the difference between me? I understand you're looking for terrorists. I understand, right? I understand what you're doing. We have a certain priority in the country. You're looking for people who are actually bad people, right? You're not looking for people on misdemeanors. You're not looking to catch me on a seatbelt. Or I know I'm everything is according to the law and good in the car. That's why I gave you a voluntary lift in my car,
Right.
right? But how do you know the difference? And the guy told me, he said, dude, we can tell by looking at you people. I'm like, dude, like sometimes you just let people go and sometimes you pull them over. He's like, dude, we look at people and we can tell.
That's muddy.
Now that is a very funky thing to say
Yeah, that's
because this
muddy.
the last time I got searched by the cops in Pakistan was a year and a half ago. Okay. And I had something that I could get in trouble with in the car. This is an interesting story.
Roger.
So
Moving on.
we'd gone camping to the beach,
Mm-hmm.
right? And some of the people who were camping there were drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wasn't drinking,
Right.
but they were drinking and they had a bottle of Patron tequila,
Okay.
right?
Good
Now for
stuff, by the way.
people
I hope it was the
uh,
clear version. Love that stuff.
it was I don't know about the tequila, but the bottle was beautiful, dude. It had this big round
Yeah,
wooden
it's got the
cork and it
cork.
was a
Yeah, yeah.
square
Oh, it's
bottle,
yeah, great bottle. I know exactly what you're talking about.
handmade square bottle. So I
They sell
went
that
up
on
to
the
the
corner.
guy. Yeah. Yeah. I went up to the guy and I said, listen, dude, would you mind if after you're done drinking, can I please have the empty bottle? It's beautiful. I'm going to take it home, maybe grow some plants and all in it. And yeah. Um,
Ah, which shot? Ooh, okay, keep going though. But I
so
wanted
I
to ask you
decided to
something.
take the bottle with me. Okay. So now I rinsed the when everybody left, I took the bottle, I sent it to the camp guy. I was like, please rinse this for me so that it doesn't stink of booze and stick it into my dive bag. Okay.
Right.
And now I don't know what came over me, but at the last minute, I decided I'm going to make sure this bottle of alcohol is not lying on top of everything. Even though it's empty, I'm just going to put it underneath like my towel or whatever to make sure it's not the very first thing that you see when you open the boot of my
Right.
car.
Right. 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 Right.
And
Right.
then we started driving back. And we're driving back, la la la, middle of nowhere in a place in the road. There's two cops standing on a motorbike and they pull us over. Okay. It's me, there's a girl in the car, and there's another guy in the car, and they're like, pull over, we're gonna like, where are you coming from? Like, we're coming from over there. Like, where are you going? We're going back to Karachi. It's like, okay, we're going to check the car. And
Oof.
we're like these hippie looking young kids. I'm wearing like my Thailand t-shirt. I'm not wearing any slippers. I'm wearing like these loose shorts. My hair is going everywhere. I've just been camping on the beach for a day and a half. And I'm like, okay. I get out of the car and like just smile and wave, act natural. And I went up to the boot of the car and I opened the boot of the car. Very natural. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Search my car. Look for whatever you want to look for. The guy touched the dive bag. He touched it. He touched the bottle from on top of the thing. And he just kind of touched it. He's looking at me. His partner's looking at me. And they just say, yeah, yeah, fine, let them go. And he stops touching it. We close it down and we walk away, dude. And it's like, dude, did this just really happen to like
That's crazy.
there was no liquor
So
in the
without
bottle.
diving, I mean, without diving too much into it, I mean, that would probably what from what I'm hearing, that'd be like maybe I had some marijuana in the back of my in my car
It
in my
was an
bag,
empty bottle of
right?
liquor, right?
But so could
So
that
they
get but
couldn't.
that get you in trouble? Just no,
Just
okay.
a headache. Just a headache.
Just all right. Now we're gonna search your whole fucking car. Everybody
So
get
like
out.
that's the sort of thing that they search the whole car and then they tell me, listen, you have to give us like $500 or we're gonna take you to the police station and you're
See,
gonna get in
I've
trouble.
never seen anything like that. I have seen Nelk Boys go through like that stuff in Mexico where they literally bribe the cops. In America, not the closest thing I've ever seen. Cop
Hmm.
found some vitamins we weren't supposed to have. Some ignitable vitamins that we weren't supposed to have.
Hmm.
And he took them and said, "Have a nice day." And I just knew at the end of the night he was enjoying those vitamins. Closest
No,
thing I've
dude,
seen to
like
that.
they'd say give us $500. I would say, listen, I'll give you $5. Okay, five.
Wow. And then you
And then
barter.
they'd be like, no, we'll give us $300. I'd be like, listen, I know. I'll give you $5.
They were trying to see how yuppie and how rich
Yeah.
you were.
Yeah. They would drive you to the door of the police station. They'd get in the car with you and they'd be like, yeah, let's go. We're
Dude,
taking you
what
to the
you
police station.
not to
And
just
outside the police station, they'd stop and they'd say, okay, we see that you're not losing your nerve. Please,
that's
you can go.
absolutely it. That's such a difference, man. Here, nah, I mean, most cops are good. Just be nice, be honest, but they're never gonna ask you for money. You're either fucked or you're not. But you did touch on something there that I said I wanted to switch topics on, and I was like, we'll come right back to that. And that's the plants, man. I don't know. I don't know if you saw here. I propagated some aloe. Look at this.
Hey, no, I didn't. You haven't shown me that
Aloe,
before.
and I got another one here. Got some because I need to tighten this one up a little bit.
That looks happy. That
So,
one looks happy.
yeah, I talked to you. Talk to your plants. I know you're a big
You
gardener guy.
should.
I
You
talk. Hey
should. It
guys, you guys are
works.
looking good. You're welcome to an international incident. You're on the show today. So happy aloe vera. You guys are awesome for sunburn. You're edible. I'd never eat you though. I just would put your
Good
babies.
for skincare as well.
Yes, I just put your babies on my sunburns and my skin and whatnot. Oh, this one's falling down, but we're propagating this one. My fiance is a big fan of growing plants. Um, we have like an outdoor room that we're growing some low sunlight plants in, but it's been getting cold, so we've been kind of moving them inside because again there are babies here. Check this one out too. I got this one right here sitting here.
Oh, that's a
Isn't that
happy boy.
isn't that pretty?
That
Look at
looks
that. Look at
real
those.
happy.
Look at the underside colors like purple, green, purple,
Gorgeous.
green. So we're just chilling, man. Um,
No,
what's it
I've
like?
been
Do you
into
garden? I know you garden. You have the you have the floor, sir.
my mom's been gardening for like decades. I got into it about a little over 10 years ago now. And I mainly got into it because uh, I was watering at one of the chores that you'd have to do at home when you were growing up would be watering all of the plants, right? So the house that we live in now, we don't have a garden anymore. So mom or a yard. So mom gardens in containers in the roof and down in the little front portion we have outside of the house where the garage and all is. So you'd have to water all of them. And I was like, dude, this is too much work. This watering at there. I'm an engineer. There has to be a way to automate this. This isn't on. And then I got into like aquaponics and stuff like that, soilless agriculture, where all that stuff happens for you automatically and it grows better and it grows happier. Um, but it's really satisfying to garden, dude. And what I wanted to talk about was I wanted to drop some real science on you, dude, about talking to plants working. So, and this is outside of all of the data and science we found about how plants actually do communicate to each other through chemicals, and they have the same sort of pain reaction that we have. Plants actually scream when you tear off a bit of a plant and all. There is a measurable, tangible reaction that goes through the body of the plant, and like for trees in the forest will communicate to each other from one side to the other side of the forest through the
Yeah, I've
mycelium
heard
and all
that.
that.
Yep,
But
yep.
separate from all of that real world scientific data, I can tell you as an engineer that yes, your plants will grow better when you talk to them. Not because the plants are talking back to you, okay? Not because of that. But simply because if you talk to your plants and you physically touch them every day, it means that you are closely examining and interacting with each plant and each leaf on a daily basis. You're watching it grow. And the instant something goes wrong or something goes different, you're going to be in position to react. Usually the problems that happen when you're gardening, whether you're doing it organically or inorganically, and we can talk about that as well in just a minute. The problem that happens is when you see things and it's too late. You see the bugs and the bugs have already taken over. It's too late to save the plant. You see the rot and it's already over. It's too late to save the plant. You see the nutrient deficiency and it's already too late. It's all over. You've seen it 3 weeks after it started happening.
Mm.
But when you're talking to the plant every day and you see it, you're like, listen, the purple is a little bit off today. Something is happening. And then you react to it. That stuff works. And like as an engineer, as a scientist, I can tell you that yes, 110%
Do you
when
trim
you
off your
talk to it.
dead? Let's say like I have a plant like this, and I might have a dead leaf on it. Are you trimming those off?
Yeah,
Okay.
you should. The rules are different for trimming for different plants, but if a leaf has browned out and it's dead, go ahead and trim it out. So gardening, dude, it's really, really rewarding. I want you to get into it as well.
Dude,
I've
maybe
had a
that'll
home
be
garden for a long time.
maybe that'll be something future. I mean, we're coming up on spring here, so maybe
So
I'll try
here's
some
how we
veggies.
garden.
Right now,
This
all
is
I have is like pretty plants and low light plants. But maybe I'll try an actual like food garden, like some cucumbers or some spinach or some carrots or something like that. Maybe I'll make a little garden coming up.
So this is how we do it for people watching the stream as well. What you do is you look up the planting calendar for where you are in the world. So I'm just going to Google planting calendar Orlando, right? And it tells, and this the Google, go to the first top Google link, which is a farmer's almanac. Yeah, that is good stuff. And so now what we're going to look up is what are the good crops to start indoors right now. So you can start growing those seedlings indoors in like a small container or in an empty bottle or anything that you like.
Right.
And by the time it's springtime outside and it's warmer, they'll be ready for you to plant outside.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a lot of patience involved with gardening. I think that's if you have young kids, dude, and you want to teach them patience and the value of small, concentrated efforts over a long period of time, which is the recipe for success for
Right.
everything in
Oh, I
life.
mean, over everything.
Teach
Yeah,
them
for
to
sure.
garden.
110%. 110%.
Teach them to garden. So here's what you can plant right now in Orlando according to a random farmer's almanac. Okay, basil can be started indoors. That's a
Okay.
good time. It's
Okay.
January
Okay.
because basil is awesome. You can get some Thai basil or different kinds of sweet basil and stuff, dude. It smells so good.
Basil, but yeah, Roger.
Basil.
Basil.
And so a great thing about basil is that the flowers, when the flowers come out, dude, they're gorgeous flowers. They smell fantastic, and as one smoker to another, if you take a little bit of the flowers and you just rub them in between your hand, dude, all of the tobacco smell goes away and your hands smell wonderful
I don't
and
smoke much tobacco.
aromatic.
I do smoke some other stuff, but I feel
You
you.
can
That's a
use
good
it as a
tip.
hand
That's a
freshener. You
good
can
tip.
use it as a generally to
All right,
freshen
so I'm
up
gonna
your
start.
hands
That's
and
what
just
we're gonna do.
feel
We're gonna put a
better.
pin in this. I'm gonna start a basil plant, and
Plus, what
we'll
else
do
can
some
you do
updates on
easily?
it. We'll do some
Yeah.
updates on it because I love
You
basil.
can do you can do bell peppers, but bell peppers are a little they're
Bell
not the
see, but bell
easiest
peppers,
plant to
I'm
do.
gonna have to build an outside garden. Whereas basil, I could start in
No, you
a
can
little.
start it indoors right now. The dates are right now, December.
Okay, all right, I'll look
Okay,
into
it
that.
says,
I'll look into that.
right?
Basil and
I'm
peppers. I
looking
eat both of those.
for
I eat both of those. They're delicious. Absolutely
how about
delicious.
celery?
Eh, eh. Unless I'm eat.
Cucumbers is not the right time.
Not yet.
Eggplants, it's the right time.
We'll
Kale,
see.
it's the right time
What I'm
in
gonna have to
January.
do is I'm gonna have
Don't
to get.
start.
I'm gonna have to go get some wood and build like a nice square plot and put some nice topsoil in there. Cause no, cause
You're
our ground here is sand. I need to. We need actual soil. I'm telling you.
we're gonna get you a container, bro. We're gonna garden in containers, but we're gonna start with like an empty water bottle that we'll cut the top off of, and that will be your first container.
Okay.
Quick and dirty, cheap.
All
The
right, we'll
idea
try it.
is to get it to grow,
We'll try
right?
it. So you guys stay
The
tuned. Watch me, somebody who knows absolutely nothing about gardening. Learn from this guy right here. This guy right here. We're gonna grow some basil. We're
There
gonna grow
you
some
go.
vegetables.
Tomatoes. That's what I was looking for,
Tomatoes. We're gonna
buddy.
grow some tomatoes.
Yeah,
Tomatoes or tomatoes?
tomatoes. I want to say tomatoes.
To this guy. This guy. Anyways, hell yeah, I'm looking
Basil
forward
and
to that.
tomatoes, dude. That'll be a great addition for pizza. There you go.
There
Spring
you
pizza
go.
in
And I'm
Orlando.
Italian. Yeah, I'll make
Homegrown.
this guy with the ideas. Future episode, homemade pizza. Anyways, look, man. This is great. This is a great another podcast. I'm looking forward to the next one. You got anything? What are your big plans for New Year's? I don't know if we kind of touched on it. I might go next door. The neighbors having like a bonfire because of the everything going on. We're not going out to any bars or big parties or anything like that. So anything you're doing fun.
I was thinking about going out to like again just someone down the road and having like a distance little bonfire night
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's
But again,
exactly what we're
I
doing.
don't want to be outdoors in the city. And what I do want to do is I want to spend the time partying with the Liftoff family, man. That's something that's been very rewarding for the
So
year.
more of like an
Um,
online party tonight. You guys aren't gonna see this, but if you were there, I hope you had a good time.
hey,
I'll
you should
probably
swing by if you're
I
not,
will. I
if
will.
you're
I'll
just going to
probably.
be a
I'll probably
different
end up
person.
in the Botgrinder Discord too with a bunch of people. We always
And
have a
hey,
nice.
I think we just put Liftoff just gave you Liftoff today, so you should come down on the stream and play with us and represent,
Boo,
bro.
boo, boo, boo. I'll be there. I'll be there at some point in some facility. But hey, man, look, it's always great fun talking to you. I mean, making our podcast is so easy. We all we got to do is hit record. We sit here and talk like we have been doing for months. Really excited people. Just gonna run down the list real quick to see what we got coming out now, and it should be already out now. But double check it. We got our gaming man. Either see me defuse a bomb, sweating, or settling our differences internationally with drones, with missiles. Of course, we got the podcast. We got the what's it like? I mean, what's it like going on a pit bull? What's it like cooking breakfast? What's it like camping and cooking? Like all kinds of stuff like that. We got the news. Let's react. I mean, who do you think looks better with pants off right now, currently, Holly Berry or Mike Tyson? I think my money's on Holly on that one. And then just, every now and then we'll check in with you guys. Karachi, this has been great fun. I look forward to the next time we hit record on our conversations. I think we're going to go ahead and end this one. We're at the perfect amount of time signing off for the podcast number 3. This has been an international incident. Love you guys. Peace.
Bye.